Greetings and konnichiwa, and welcome back to the Onyx Tavern Vlog series on Russia Sentai ToQger. I'm your host, Rick the Barkeep, and today let's talk about station number 42, Words to Reach You. Now, this episode, it's inconsistent to put it mildly. It's a crazy episode. It's not a good episode. It has its moments, but it fluctuates so much in tone and mood and plot. It just I don't know where to begin with this. It's just such a crazy episode because it seems like they want to do it's like three different episodes in one almost, that they have some ideas for an episode here, some ideas for an episode there, and a couple of ideas here, but they couldn't get them to work as standalone episodes, so they had to mash them all together as one, and well, the result is just a mess. That's the best way to go ahead and put it. But I will do my best to basically describe to you guys what's been happening in this episode. And believe it or not, there are some good things about it that I can see they were trying really, really hard to do something of significance. And then a moment later, they turn right around and do something incredibly stupid. So, what's happening in this episode? So, we pick off after Christmas, but before New Year. And basically, what's happening is that the conductor wants to throw a party for the ToQger because he feels so bad for them based on what happened in the previous episodes. They know where their town is, they can't get hold of it. So, of course, boo hoo, woe is them. Therefore, conductor wants to do something nice for him. So he wants to throw them like a New Year's party, a little karaoke party. He sets up with food and karaoke machine and decorations and all this nice fun stuff. Even Akira comes in and wants to do some karaoke for them, wants to sing for them and let them have a good time. But what ends up happening, and this is something I'll credit the episode for, is that all the ToQger are in this mood that they don't want to party. They don't want to have any fun. Akira starts, wants to go ahead and start singing, dancing, and then the first thing that Wright asks is like, "What about the connection point to the shadow line and getting to the castle?" And Akira just calmly says, "Yeah, it's there, but we can't get through. It's too much darkness. Now let's go ahead and sing." And he's trying to get their minds off of it, which no doubt is kind of what Conductor is after. Is that he knows the trouble that they're going through, that they can't reach the terminal, therefore he just wants to distract them from their problems. But the ToQger, being uncharacteristic to be quite honest, they want to face their problems and they want to head to the shadow line. They don't care how difficult it is. They want to go ahead and get through. And so the first part before the teaser, or in the teaser, is so it's so at odds with what we've actually known with ToQger. Because again, Akira's trying to go ahead and do this karaoke. He starts to sing, and what happens? They wrestle him down to stop. They turn off the karaoke machine. It really has this kind of real world drama where a bunch of people are bummed in a room. One guy tries to liven the spirits, but does it so horribly that everybody's got a comment on it, and it really makes you feel uncomfortable. The scene does. Because you know what the ToQger are feeling, you know what Akira's trying to do, and it's just sad, that this is happening. So again, Wright wants to get through the darkness. He doesn't care, and all of them, head out to the terminal in order to take care of this. But Akira stops them and basically says, if we go now, we're not going to be able to get through. The darkness is too thick, and all these different reasons. And Mio speaks up and basically says we should listen to him. We're not ready to go ahead and do this. Let's listen to Akira. And then just like that, Wright just like he goes back to being right is what it is. For a minute, he is a very serious character who wants to get home and do the right thing and be proactive. And then all he has to do is be talked out of it. And he goes back to, oh, I want to go ahead and eat and go have fun and be that little kid again. Again, the point of I think the point of making them children is to show them growing up in the series. They're not really doing that. Obviously, Mio has grown up in that particular scene, and that was a very well done scene. There's actually a lot of good stuff with Mio in this episode, but Wright grows up and then regresses within an instant, basically. And it's an interesting scene that she talks him out of it, because she realizes, hey, we can't do this, it's not going to be safe for us, and all that, and Akira backs him up. But just to see Wright completely go 180 back to his original personality, it's a little bothersome. And then the episode gets a little bit better in that one of the things that Wagon is doing, and the thing is, she's actually pulling her weight around here. She's actually trying to make the Rangers feel better, but she's trying to be productive about it. Whereas the conductor wanted to just give them a party, Wagon is actually going to go ahead and give them stationery to write letters to home, basically. That she knows she can't get them there, and that's going to take a while to do, but give them something productive. Have them write letters to their families so that they can feel better, get their emotions on the page and all that, which is a great idea. But I'll talk more about that because it's problematic. But the point of this is that she is doing something good for the Rangers. She is helping them out as best she can, and this is the best thing she can do outside of handle food. And I thought this was the best use of the character we've had in the series at all, basically. I mean, she's really been superfluous. There's no reason to have her, but in a moment like this, because she's at odds with what the conductor wants, and she can recognize what the ToQger want to do, this is a very good use of her character. Now, what we also see is we're getting a couple of flashbacks from the Rangers, and Mio is having flashbacks of her father. And there's this great scene where Takachi has made bento for her, and they're sitting on the river, and she's eating the bento, and she's overwhelmed by the emotions of missing her father, and just all the happy memories and everything. And she starts to break down, and she starts to cry. This to me is the highlight of the episode, and this is the kind of thing we should have been seeing in the entirety of the series. This is raw, real emotion. She has the sadness from missing her father, and it comes out perfectly. The actress that plays Mio, I'm skipping on her name, but she did a real good job in this scene. It really made me feel for her. And the hard thing is that this is like the first time I've really felt for any of the characters throughout the series, because this is where they've actually been allowed to do this kind of stuff. I can't think of a single episode before this where they've had these types of emotions and the actors have cried like that. Sure, they got close when in the previous episode where Akira, they thought he was dead and all that, but man, this is motivated emotion, and Takachi's there because he does love her. Whether it's just infatuation or true love, I think that's still up on the fence. And he tries to comfort her. He does something nice. He makes her bento. He, even tries to say, because part of her problem in this episode is that she does what everybody else wants. That's basically what he's saying, is that she thinks of others and doesn't think of herself, which is kind of an odd thing to tell a character. It's like, you think of other people too much, think about yourself. But that's what he believes is going on, and that's what he tells her. And when she does think of herself and what she wants, she just wants her father back. That's all it is. She doesn't want anything else in the world. She just wants to go ahead and see her father again, and that's where the emotion comes out. And Takachi, again, to his credit, he's my least favorite ToQger, but he was able to connect with her. This was a brilliant scene in this series, and I wish this was something we had more of in the series, because this is what it's about. I'm not saying it's got to be all dark and brooding, but you have a child in a body of an adult who hasn't seen their family in a long time and may never see him again, and how do you adjust to that? Well, according to the series, you become stupid adults. But Mio, I think, did it perfectly in this scene, and that to me is what the series needed. Now, there's some follow up on this towards the end of the episode, because apparently ToQger goes to some random town to involve themselves with a New Year's celebration. And she goes this little speech about what love is and stuff, and apparently there's this tension between her and Takachi, and it's like Takachi kind of says he loves her, and she kind of admits that that's love or something. It's really weird, because then they do this whole cartoon thing where they get blushed and steam lets off, and it could have been handled much better, because you did really well at the beginning of the episode, and now you got this whole thing where it becomes a cartoon, a farce, basically. So they were taking just the right steps in this relationship, and then they just took 5 steps back with the ending. So, again, they did really well, and then they just kind of mucked it up there. Um, okay, so something also that's interesting about this episode is it does serve as a clip show. Um, so, like when they're writing the letters, they're basically recounting their adventures as ToQger. But here's the problem I have with the clips in terms of it being a clip show. Is that the clips are not really telling us anything. Let's assume for the moment that you've never seen a single episode of ToQger, and for whatever reason you happen to watch television on the day that Station 42 came out, which by the way was December 28th, 2014. So let's say that happened, you watched it, and you are watching what's going on, and then they go into the clips. Now, is it just me, or shouldn't the clips actually tell you what's been going on and actually elaborate on the story? Because the clips do not service that. If a newcomer was to come in and watch this, they would be like, I have no idea what's going on in this show, and I have no idea because the clips aren't telling me anything. I don't necessarily think that clip shows there to let new viewers in, because if you're coming in at this point, then, day late, dollar short. But if you've lapsed a little bit, missed a few episodes, or need a refresher of what's happened, these clips really don't do a good job of getting you back in. For example, Wright talks about getting the Zords, but he doesn't talk about the difficulty in obtaining them. And, like, for example, it talks about the Diesel O. Now, there was a entire episode dedicated to find the Diesel O, the quote-unquote personality that it has, and everything that's in there, but all it is, oh, we got this. You've turned a 22-minute episode into a fraction of a comment, basically. So you're not going to talk about anything significant about that? What about finding the tank Resha or the car Resha? Nothing significant about that. You're not going to bring it up. And by the way, they didn't even bring up the Galaxy line at all. They bring up all the others. They even talk about the Hyper Resha terminal, but not for a moment do they go and talk about what it is and what it actually means. We see clips of them fighting villains, but we don't talk about those villains. I mean, if you watch this and you just saw the clips of Schwartz, you're like, well, who's this guy? A lot of what he did was significant and means something, but you don't bother to explain any of that whatsoever. It seems to me that this episode was meant to be a character piece to reorient everybody to what's going on in the episode, in the series. But then they were stretched for time, and instead of doing something significant like, I don't know, having dialogues between the characters and have them bring out their emotions, they decided to put these clips in there. I really think it wasn't designed as a clip show based on what's going on with Mio and Takachi, but they had to put the clips in there, and they just put clips that really don't mean anything. I just don't. I don't get the reason they're doing that. And again, they're not putting anything of substance in the storytelling, so that's a little bothersome. Now there's something going on with the conductor that I can't quite figure out. There's twice in this episode where his face turns into an old man face, or at least I think that's an old man face. He frankly looks like Lando Calrissian's co-pilot from Return of the Jedi. Nevertheless, something's going on with him, and it's commented on twice, but not explained. I don't know if this is something that's going to play into the final episodes, but this seems to be one of those things where something's not right. Maybe we should have been paying attention to this a long time ago. Okay, so let's talk about. Oh, and here's another thing. Before we get into this next part, it's not until the second act that we actually see Zet in his palace. Yes, the villain who is left alone by himself at this point. Yeah, we show him at the beginning of the second act. Don't mention him at all or anything. There he is. And what's he doing? Absolutely nothing. He's just standing there doing nothing. Why? Who knows? The episode doesn't bother to explain it. It seems like, again, this episode wants to be proactive in what it's doing, but it's not really doing a good job about it. Again, the episode starts with them trying to go save their families, and nothing happens. In which, by the way, I brought up in my previous video that Glitter is out there with her own train, and I don't care how thick the darkness is. I'm betting that her train could get in through the darkness, no matter how much Zed's put in there. So why isn't the discussion brought up to find Glitter and use her train to maybe secretly get in there? I mean, I know they talk about using the drill Resha, but drill Resha is on the side of good now, so it's probably got some light or sparkle to it, to where maybe it won't be able to get through, just like Akira said. But I guarantee Glitter could still get through. Why this isn't brought up? Who knows? Maybe they'll bring it up in the next episode. Okay, so again, let me talk about this too. So what Wagon has decided to do is they're going to write letters to home. It's something productive for them to go ahead and do. But when you actually sit and think about this, it really doesn't make a lot of sense because they're writing the letters, and we have evidence of this when Mio is writing her letter to her father, says, "Not to worry about me." They're writing letters as if they're going to get the letters tomorrow. That they're going to send them to their town, which again is in the realm of darkness, and that's problematic for a couple of reasons. I'll tell you that in a second. And that her father's going to read it and go, "Oh, that's what she's been doing for 6 months now," and all that stuff, and oh, I shouldn't worry about her. Except her father is stuck in time. Everybody is stuck in time. That's been well established that their town, just like the other shadow towns, is stuck in time. So if they get the letters to Shadow Town, they're not going to be able to read the letters until the Shadow Town is liberated, and I'm assuming at that point they'll meet their family again, and we won't have this issue. Now, my question is, why weren't these letters written like, "If I don't make it back, deliver this to my family"? Because we've seen that in a number of movies and TV shows where some soldiers about to go into a battle, they don't think they're going to make it alive, and then they're going to write a letter out to their family saying, "Okay, I didn't make it, but these are all the things I wanted to say that I don't get a chance to now." And the thing I always think about is when Chief O'Brien does this. He's done this. I think he said in an episode he did it like 15 times up to that point, the episode that he was in at that time. I forget the name of the episode. There was To the Death, I believe is what it was. The point is, why weren't these letters written like that? Because I think that means a little bit more, because the Rangers know that their parents won't read these letters until they are freed, correct? So what's the point of writing the letters to somebody who's going to read them the moment that they're reunited with you? That's a little confusing to me. Now, if this was something like, Mia writing to her father, "Dad, if you're reading this, this means that I saved the town, but I did not survive somehow." And then I think it gives a little bit more of emotional weight for our characters and the consequences. Because there could be a line in there where Akira is basically like, "If we do this, you're never coming back. We will save your town, but you will not survive the onslaught, or there's a good chance that not all of you will survive." Then we have the situation where they have to write these letters as if they're never going to see their family again. But they're writing the letters as if their family will read them the next day. And I think that takes away the emotional punch from it. I think that takes away the resonance that it would have on our characters. And again, once they send them there, they're not going to read them until after everything has happened. So what's the point of like, "Oh, my daughter sent me this letter," and then 5 seconds later she comes to the front door? It's just, it's like traveling in a way. It's like, "Oh, here's a letter, postcard I'm going to write home," and then you arrive home before the postcard. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of the way it is, and that's the thing that really kind of bothers me about writing these letters, because again, I get it. Wagon is trying to give them something to do, get their minds off of it, and be productive, but there needed to be something in there to say not everything is going to turn out rosy. And it seems to me that maybe it will. That's probably where they're going with this, is that things will turn out well, but I don't know. I don't know. It's just it just kind of bothers me that there isn't this. They're not recognizing the gravity of the situation, and I've said that all series long, and this episode continues with that. See what I'm saying? Is like, again, part of the episode is really good because it has some great ideas in there, but the other part is stupid. And speaking of stupid, let's get on to what happens at the end. So, in order to deliver the letters, because yes, they're going to actually deliver the letters, they have a new Resha, the Post Resha. Yes, they're going to put the letters in this train, and literally shoot it into their town. Which again, I will remind you, is covered in darkness, and as we see it, they don't actually deliver the letters as much as it gets stuck in the darkness and rains sparkles down on the city. Again, I don't know, but here's where it gets really stupid. I know you guys were waiting for this. So conductor still feels bad that they didn't take him up on the party and all that kind of stuff. Wants to do something for him, so he goes and gets, and let me pull up the exact term here. Let me see what they call it. Goes and pulls up the Rainbow Line maintenance crew. He gets the Rainbow Line maintenance crew inside the diesel Russia, and inside the diesel Russia is a soundstage where the maintenance crew performs a live concert of the ToQger theme song. Yes, this is happening. Okay. So it appears to me that Super Sentai is trying to get their theme songs to exist within the world of the series. Now, this started last year with ToQger. Apparently, the way it's done in that show is that the Song of the Earth, the song that brings life to Earth and the melody of the universe and all that good stuff, happens to be their theme song. Somehow it contains lyrics that reference only them and not the entire Earth, but that's beside the point. And I let it go because that series did focus on music, and you can always say that the melody was there and they just, came up with the lyrics on their own. Okay. But now, here's what's problematic about the way it is in ToQger. So as I've said before, we have the Rainbow Line, and it's been established that there are people who work on the Rainbow Line. We have Lady, we have Akira, we have Conductor, we have Wagon, we have the President. And it's been implied that there are more people, but we never see them. Every time we go to the hyper terminal, there is nobody there. Nobody out. Nobody cleaning the place. Nobody there to defend it. Nobody there to maintain it. And Akira's supposed to be maintaining the rail lines, but we never see him working with anybody else. Don't you find that a little suspicious? And then, when we actually do see maintenance workers for the Rainbow Line, they also happen to be band members. So here's my question. Are they maintenance line workers who have a garage band in their spare time? Or are they band members who then joined up with the Rainbow Line to work on the imaginary rail? And again, how do you get involved in this? Are they constructs of the imagination? They're definitely not former Shadow Line members like Akira, so where are they recruiting these people? And not to mention, if it's only children that can see them, or of course, people with strong imaginations, are we implying that they are children that somehow got on the Rainbow Line and stayed and never left? I don't get this. And then, where did they come up with the song? Literally, in the universe, where did they come up with this ToQger song? Did Conductor write in his spare time? Is this something that the president is up to? Or is this the official anthem of the ToQ line, or excuse me, the Rainbow Line that we've never heard before? Does somebody want to explain this to me? You know, they wanted to have this little thing at the end where they're dancing and they're happy and all that kind of stuff, but not for a single moment did they actually think about what this means to the overall story. They have a theme song. They're maintenance members we've never seen before. It'd been great if those maintenance members were around when Zet tried to take over the hyper terminal, because they could have fought them off, right? And not to mention, we do know that the president can make additional morphers and can make additional trains. We've only seen him do it once, apparently, because he made that for Tokyo Rokugo. But why doesn't he make these four part of the Rainbow Line? Or are they too valuable as singers? If the situation is as desperate as everybody says is, the darkness is going to consume, then why not make more Rangers? Yes, you can say ToQger existence is unique based on what happened, but apparently you have four people hanging around that are in a band that are just in a band. They're running maintenance, but you don't think they're good enough to, I don't know, have morphers of their own. Let's make one of them the White Ranger. Let's make one of them another Cyan Ranger. Let's make one of them a Black Ranger, whatever, and we can shore up our numbers. You see what I'm saying, folks? And don't say I'm reading too much into this because this is, again, I always say this, but people just never seem to listen. When you're writing the series, these are things you have to think about when you're plotting out your story. If you're writing them by yourself, I can see how this can slip through, but this is done with a team of writers. I guarantee you there's a team of writers there where it's like 10, 15 people at a table pitching ideas and stuff, and I want to know who brought up the idea. Well, let's bring in this band to sing. Well, where's the band from? Oh, they're part of the maintenance line. Wait, what maintenance line? Oh, the ones we've been talking about all season, but we never actually saw. So we're going to have them sing a song. Why don't we have them do something useful? You see what I'm saying? There is a conversation like that had to have happened, and somebody was able to talk them into doing it anyway. That's the stuff that bothers me, folks. That's what pisses me off about ToQger, is that they don't think their ideas through. And yes, it's true. In a number of other Sentai series, I mean, I've been watching Jetman, and there are a couple of dumb moments in that series, too, where people just don't think things through. And that's what bothers me. And this episode, again, if you took half of what's in there and made it into an episode, it would have been great. The other half, instead of bringing the band in there or putting the clips in there, you could have done something with our characters. What about Kagura? My goodness, she's like the least developed character of any of these people, and you're not going to do anything with her? You're going to bring in this band, but not talk about your Pink Ranger. Okay, I see your priorities. All right. Well, that's pretty much all I have to say about this episode. Let's see where it goes from here. I mean, this is the point of the series. Usually after New Year's, that's when things get really serious. The 11th hour is coming up, and we'll be done with this soon. And I hope so. I want the series to redeem itself, and I don't want to have to keep talking bad about it because, well, unfortunately, that's what I'm doing. Anyway, I will see you next time when we cover Station 43, and let's see how it all ends. All right. I want to thank you for listening. Have a good evening. And the tavern is now closed.